Hello, a big warm welcome back to Ask Astutis, where you give us the questions and we'll give you the straight answers. I'm digital content writer at Astutis, Toby Howell, and today I will be addressing all your frequently asked questions regarding the new changes to the new NIBOSH Level 6 diploma. So let's get started. So you might be thinking, what has changed? Well, let's start off with the actual name itself. The course is now called the NIBOSH Level 6 Diploma for Occupational Health and Safety Management Professionals. And we'll get into why the Level 6 part is important in a minute. So apart from the name change, what else has changed? Well, this part could be quite simple. There have been no amendments to the course syllabus. It's the same course, and there have been no amendments to the learning outcomes, which means that learners will still be receiving the same rewards they did when they passed the course in the previous specifications. Learners and organisations looking to enrol their staff on the course might want to take note of the fact of how the course is now regulated by Ofqual. NIBOSH's new partnership with Ofqual is the main change. It is the reason why Level 6 is in between NIBOSH and Diploma. NIBOSH Level 6 Diploma for Occupational Management or Health and Safety Management Professionals, is all down to Ofqual's new partnership with NIBOSH. And the reason for that is so that when you pass the NIBOSH Level 6 Diploma, as it's now called, if you're doing it on the international incarnation of the course, you will now receive eligibility to have IOSH membership. That was always there if you were doing the national version of the course. So essentially, in short, it's to make the course fairer for both incarnations, both the national and the international version of the course. As part of the new specification, learners might want to also take note of a very minor change in the form of the unit code name changes. So when before the unit codes would have been ND, ID 2, 3, or 1, 2 and 3, this time around it is a little bit different. They've swapped the lettering around. That's right, so this time for the national version it would be DN, and for the international version it would be DI. Now the reason why I bring this to your attention is because that is a change, and the biggest change probably comes in the form of assessments. So let's get to those. So the biggest change coming to the NIBOSH Level 6 Diploma, and the one that will affect learners the most, is without a doubt the assessment phase. In short, the assessment phase has been reduced in duration. For the 3 different assessments, learners will have less time to complete and there will be less attainable marks. So let's get into those in finer detail. DN1 or DI1, when it previously was 60 hours to complete, is now 40 hours. The submission window has also been reduced. For DN2 and DI2, and it's actually the same for DN3 and DI3 because it's the exact same in terms of the assessment structure. It was changed from 40 hours to 20 hours. And let's actually get into how that affects the marking for these assessments. Let's try to break down, without getting too number heavy here, how the changes to the marking or the total marks attainable will affect learners. So for DN1 or DI2 if you're an international learner, the previous specification of the course had a total of 550 attainable marks for that unit. That has now been changed to 300, reducing it by 250 total marks. You need 50% to pass. For DN2 or ID2, the change or the reduction in the total marks is from 375 to 175, reducing the total marks attainable by 200. And like with the previous unit, you need 50% to pass. And in the final assessment phase for DN3 or or DI3, I do apologise, that was the previous specification, it is a reduction from 230 total marks to 175. So, as with others, you need 50% to pass that unit. So there has been a drastic change in the total attainable marks. But let's now focus on why these changes have actually taken place. So these changes, quite simply, have been made to align both versions of the course, both the national and international NIBOSH Level 6 diploma. Previously, the national incarnation allowed those who passed the course to be eligible for IOSH membership. Now, through NIBOSH's new partnership with Ofqual, learners for the international version will be able to have that eligibility to apply for IOSH membership. Now, there has been a misconception online that because of the level 6 inclusion in the title, there has been a change in the difficult nature of the course or how hard it is. I can assure you there have been no changes to the difficulty or how hard the course is. The course remains the same. It is purely to involve the international version of the course and have equality through the entire spectrum of the NIBOSH Level 6 diploma. So, Ofqual and NIBOSH have reiterated that learners on the current version of the course will only need to pass one unit or one assessment which is Ofqual regulated. And then therefore, once they pass the course, it will be the new NIBOSH Level 6 diploma course that they have in their possession. Which means that you only need to really focus on ensuring that you sit one new assessment under the new specification. And essentially, we've had a lot of questions regarding worried learners concerned about if they need to rebuy the course. I can assure you that is not a concern, that is not a problem, everything is fine. You just need to make sure you pass one unit or one assessment that is Ofqual regulated in the new specification. So to conclude, main talking points for the new changes are quite simple. Thankfully, they're quite simple. Firstly, there has been a huge reduction in the duration it will take to sit the entire course. And therefore, because of that reduction time, the total attainable marks have been reduced. The submission windows have also been reduced, and I will strongly advise that if you want further information on the particulars of the submission windows and how it might affect the current learners regarding sitting one unit or anything like that, we strongly advise you read the blog in the description below. It will outline in much more intrinsic detail all the details that you will need to ease any concerns you may have regarding this new specification of the diploma. But that is all we have for you here today. If you want more information on how the changes might affect you, you've got the insight section on www.astutis.com. There you will find blogs that outline everything that you might ever need to know about the new specification of the NIBOSH diploma. You'll also find there more information regarding our other courses. And of course, you can find us on social media. Just type in Astutis on any platform and you will most probably find us there. So until next time, friends, thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments or email me directly at toby.howell@astutis.com, and I will ensure that you get an answer as soon as I can possibly reply. Thank you very much for watching, and of course, stay safe.